I must have got off. Oh well. When Muslim Spain kind of ended and the Catholics came over, did the Catholics destroy all the mosques and all the buildings? No, they took them over, made them into churches, absorbed the knowledge, and because they absorbed the knowledge, we also ended up kind of getting that Greek knowledge. Because remember, in Al-Andalus, that's where you had a Muslim and a Jewish scholar figure out how do we incorporate religion and Greek philosophy. And they translated all the works of the Greeks and the Romans. The Catholics took that and then traded it with other Catholics, leading to Italy, which was one of their main trading partners. So that all kind of helped to fuel part of the Renaissance in terms of the rebirth of Greek and Roman knowledge, because we reacquired it by taking over Muslim Spain. So you can use the picture as your starting off point for that.
Okay. And that would probably go into the demographic or social.
Demographic. You could also talk about the fact that there were many changes in Spain, depending on whether or not the Muslims, because the first wave of Muslims were happy with the Christians and the Jews to be there, and everyone was very copacetic with one another. And then when you get the Berbers coming up from North Africa and they take over, that's when everything kind of starts to go down.
Okay.
And it happens to be at the same time as the Crusades, and so the Pope sends Christian crusaders down into Spain to get rid of the Muslims there. So the Crusades, when we normally talk about the Big C Crusades, we normally focus in on Jerusalem, but there were also crusaders going down into Spain at the same time.
So if we talk about the Crusades and demographic,
You could hit both Jerusalem and Spain.
So document 8 would be demographic.
It could be demographic, it could be social. The only one it can't be is environmental.
Yeah.
And then document 1 would be, it's also about the Crusades, right?
Yes. And document 1 is specifically about the desire for trade goods that grew out of the Crusades. And so you can talk about increased trading routes, you can talk about the introduction of banking with that.
That's social.
It could be social or demographic.
And then is document 4 about the Black Plague or just sickness in general?
Yes, this is about the Black Death.
That's
If you look at the title.
okay.
Yeah, and a lot of times, look at the title. It'll give you a really big hint as to what you're talking about.
Until Levi, please report to our Rothman's office. Until I need your help with something, come down here.
All right. Any other questions on the essay?
Do you think we can finish it like a night, or would we have to work like multiple nights on it?
Well, don't you want to go to the writing center?
Yeah, I was gonna go to the writing center like one night. Or no, wait, tomorrow. I thought it was
Well, here's my suggestion. I would, if you're planning on going to, are you going to the writing center to help you with the writing of it or the organization and outlining of it?
the organization and outline.
Then I would go to the writing center tomorrow, right over the weekend, and then if you have any questions, you can still go and see them on Monday.
That's what I was thinking.
So, because you can go to the writing center to get help on this. They're not going to really be able to help you too much with the content because most of them are English teachers.
I already won.
Yes.
But they can absolutely
They
can absolutely help you. Well, Ms. Browner and Dr. Schneider, when Dr. Schneider returns from AP grading, both of them are social studies teachers, so they can help you with content. The other teachers, a little bit with content, just if they happen to know the event, but they absolutely can help you with the organization and whether or not you're using the documents well, and whether or not you're using your map well.
I won Miss Brown, the English teacher.
Mhm.
She kind of helped me analyze the documents a little bit. So
Yeah, that's something that they're incredibly good at. So if you're having problems with the documents, either understanding them, figuring out how to use them, even the English teachers can help you with that. Yeah.
I'll go.
Mhm.
I just have a question about the test. Are there short answers on the test?
Nope.
On multiple choice.
All multiple choice. All right, so are we done with the essay, and we're going to move on to the?
Yeah, the
Okay.
guy.
for the time being.
All right.
I have a quick question. For the 4 reasons why Rome was able to expand, are there like 4 specific?
Yes, if you go back to the,
Is it peace, order, unity, and prosperity?
yes, that one. That slide on the From Republic to Empire PowerPoint. Why was Pax Romana so good? The peace, order, prosperity, and whatever the other one was.
Wait, peace, order,
Unity.
Unity.
Peace, order, unity, and
prosperity.
prosperity.
Yeah. It's that one slide in the PowerPoint. Yes.
Can you explain the battle at Marcianople?
All right. Battle at Marcianople.
Wait, where is
That is down kind of end of Rome.
Right there.
All right. When you take a look at the Battle of Marcianople, that is actually in the Eastern Roman Empire. So you're outside of Constantinople. And this is kind of one of those battles where you start to see the Goths, the Huns, like all of our Germanic peoples, stop actually attacking the Eastern Roman Empire and focusing more on the Western Roman Empire. Because remember, Constantinople, Eastern Roman Empire has all the money. And so they start bribing the Germanic peoples to leave them alone. And so they're like, okay, we'll take your money, and then we'll go in and attack Rome. And Rome didn't have the money to basically pay them off. But one of the problems with the Battle of Marcianople, this is another example of where you basically had the Germanic peoples, they could come in and they could be part of the empire, but not really, because they weren't given citizenship and they weren't given a whole lot of rights. And so this is where you start to see it kind of bite the Roman Empire, because they don't want to give them citizenship rights, but they've got them in their military. And now you see the Goths kind of fighting back because they're tired of not getting enough food to eat. They're tired of not kind of being protected, yet they have to protect the Romans.
Is there gonna be like vocab on this too? Cause
Yep.
is the vocab on there?
In most cases, but
There's some.
the best thing to do is just go back through all the chapters, all the words that are in blue, I believe,
Yeah.
or vocab.
Yeah.
What are the tenets of Christianity?
That means the core beliefs, that you believe in one God, that Christ is the
I thought
the
they were
Son.
like family.
Yeah, no, we're talking about like the big overall.
Okay.
You know how like you have the 5 pillars of Islam.
Right.
What are the core beliefs of Christianity? One is that Christ is the Savior. Mm-hmm.
What's like the biggest difference between Christianity and Judaism?
Biggest difference between Christianity and Judaism is Judaism does not recognize that Christ is the long prophesied Savior, whereas Christianity does. I mean, the Torah, which is their holy book, is almost completely identical to the Old Testament in Christianity. So Christianity is kind of like the natural evolution of Judaism. So they have way more similarities than differences. The differences spark from Christ.
All the way down the African kingdoms for Ethiopia. I remember this in the study guide. What's like PowerPoints? Are these like?
They're all in chapter 12,
Okay.
and 2, I have an Africa PowerPoint in the medieval movements block.
Okay. Are all
It's
PowerPoints-
probably like an Africa folder, so you have to click on the folder and you'll see a whole bunch of documents and that PowerPoint.
Are all the PowerPoints online?
Yes,
Oh.
all the PowerPoints are online. Remember, Ethiopia was the one Christian kingdom that we studied. All the others were either converted to Islam or they stayed with their traditional animistic, spirit-based religion.
And then I have another question. Is Korea on the test? Because it was on our.
It's like the influence of Korea or something.
Yeah, I'm more I would say that the only questions on Korea would be the same vein as what was on the last test, meaning more like what was the Chinese influence on Korea.
Where did we find
That's in the kind of like China and East Asia chapter.
What is the influence?
Another question.
I'm trying to remember what chapter that was. 11 is Islam, 12 is Africa, 7 is the Americas, 8 and 9 are medieval Europe, 10 is Byzantine Empire and Russia, 13 is East Asia.
We go all the way up to 13, right? And that's it?
You can look at chapter 14, section 1.
Are our tests different?
Actually, you could actually take a look at all of 14 and the first part of 15, because that covers the Renaissance, Reformation, and global age, so like global pitch.
Right.
I did it primarily through PowerPoint.
Oh, so I can just look at the PowerPoints on the middle?
Yeah, but if you wanted to like kind of get an overview, if you're not understanding, because I went through it really, really quickly because we lost time,
Right.
you could go back and take a look at the book
Okay.
for that. In answer to your question, the multiple choices are different.
Yeah.
The only thing we have in common is the essay.
How many
Yes.
questions, multiple choice questions are there?
We're gonna have 100 because you're writing your essay ahead of time.
Oh, there'll be 100.
Yes, that's all you're doing in the hour and a half.
That's kind of good though, because that means like. if you
The
get
answer's
one
somewhere
wrong,
on there.
it'll be,
You
like,
just gotta
one
kind of decode it and
off.
hopefully figure it
Are
out.
we gonna do like really specific questions though? There's a lot of them, right?
Are they easier than?
I can potentially repeat questions from prior past.
Are we gonna get our test back to look at?
You have to make an appointment. They cannot leave the building. So make an appointment with me. I'm more than happy to hand you your task and you can look at it. And remember, it's only a second semester.
Right.
So it's Rome forward. That's it.
Are there gonna be specific questions on like global pitch foods and stuff?
Yes.
So it's gonna be like questions about like tomato or something, just like random things.
It's going to be along the lines of the historical significance of it. So if you paid attention during the presentations and you jotted down what was important, you'll be fine.
Okay. Can you? It's down a little bit more. It's under Northern Europe. Those people: Charlemagne, Henry the IV.
Yeah, you're sure.
All right, you need to take a look at the medieval Europe PowerPoint.
Okay.
Charlemagne was our Frankish leader. He was kind of built an empire after the fall of Rome, but it only existed for him. And then as soon as he died, it got split up and no more empire. And he was the leader of the Franks, who are the predecessors to the French. Henry IV, if you recall, when we were taking a look at the document analysis and the image analysis during medieval Europe, Henry IV is one of the kings that got into a fight with the Pope and lost. The Pope won.
So it was both about what?
Go back and take a look.
Okay.
I remember that.
But they got into a fight. The thing to remember is that the Pope won.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pope Gregory the Sixth is our Gregory the Great. So he also goes up against Henry IV. But Pope Gregory, we get lots of things from Pope Gregory, like the Gregorian calendar. Otto the Great is your first Holy Roman Emperor. Despite the fact that the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire.
First Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, he was the first Holy Roman Emperor, which was actually based in Germany. The Holy Roman Empire was corrupt at times, very secular and anti-Catholic at times. Rome was not in it. And really it was a bunch of principalities, and the Holy Roman Emperor basically was just the nobleman that all the other princes paid homage to. He didn't really have a huge amount of power. So that's why we have the joke the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire.
What's the serf noble contract?
That's feudalism. So, what does the noble have to do for the serf? What does the serf have to do for the noble? In the medieval year of PowerPoint, we have it on one slide.
What would you say for the fall of the Roman Republic? That would just be.
What the difference between the fall of the Roman Republic versus the fall of the Roman Empire? The Republic is the one that dissolved into the Civil War because of the battle between the haves and the have-nots. Caesar's comes in, saves the day, whereas the fall of the fall of the Roman Empire was bad leadership, invasions, again battle between haves and have-nots, the cultural decay. Remember we had that whole PowerPoint that listed like
That
the
was
5 or
a
6
DQ,
reasons.
Isn't that for the midterm?
Yes, we did do. I don't think it was a DBQ. I think it was just an essay
Yeah.
that I asked you to write, taking a look at
Oh, right,
the difference between the two.
right.
Because I was out curriculum writing that day or something, so I had to.
All right, Mr. Gale helped us with that.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Gale helped you with that.
It was the day before. It was the day before vacation. Not a lot of people were
Yeah.
here.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, you guys wrote it there, but I was absent like the day before, sometime around there because of curriculum writing, and so he helped you prepare it, and then you guys wrote it. Okay. Any other questions?
Boniface of Montferrat.
Boniface is one of our crusaders.
Okay.
So I would look at your notes on the Crusade movie.
Okay.
He was one of, remember they did it as the movie trailer starring, he was one of the ones listed in there. And they went over kind of like what his reason is as to why he went on crusade.
Okay. And Peter the Hermit.
Peter the Hermit was the leader of the People's Crusade during the First Crusade, so he brought kind of all the people that the Byzantines really didn't want to come on crusade, and so their ragtag group ended up causing all sorts of death, destruction in their wake because they were not trained soldiers.
Got it.
Any other questions?
You can just like scroll down.
There's all the crusade stuff. Feudalism in Islam. We covered a lot this semester.
We did.
Yeah. Wait, so is there just gonna be like one question for each, cause there's like so many things, or like a section for each?
Oh, is there gonna be matching?
Yes.
Like a lot? Or?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't finished
Matching
making it
can
yet.
sometimes be good, sometimes be bad, cause if you get one wrong, then you get both wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just
Who
annoying.
do you make the test?
She just said she's making it. So I haven't done yet.
I've got
But you make it, right? Like you-
I have test banks where I've got like ready-made questions that I can call upon, tweak, but out of your 100 multiple choice questions, I probably will be making almost half of them. Yeah.
Should we use the test to take the test, like do some questions relate to others that like might-
Yeah, a huge suggestion I would give is, and this is where your textbook can actually help you. At the end of kind of each chapter, I'll just go to the end of a chapter here. They have a review and assessment. And if you do the building vocabulary, recalling key facts, the critical thinking and writing, if you do those, you'll be good.
They have them
The other
online.
thing is at the end of each unit, which is larger, it's at the end of chapter 3. They have review and assessment, and so they have an even larger kind of collection. So I would look at those if you want to really go kind of nitty gritty at the end of each section. you have recall, comprehension questions that you can do. And if you can do those, you're pretty much gonna feel okay.
For the little tests, is there like answers anywhere in the textbook?
Online, there's codes that they have for the end of the test, and you can do the same test online, and it automatically scores it for you.
Yeah.
That's why I studied for the test.
And you do well. Any other questions? Well, you can email me questions. If you want to email me questions over the weekend, I would suggest using the Google Apps email to ncps-k12.org because I check that way more frequently than I do the New Canaan dot blah blah blah. No. Because that one I have to log into the Google Apps. I just kind of have open. Yeah. So I would hit me there. That would be my suggestion. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
That was helpful.
Would you like to come up with us a little